Welcome back to Zappy's Detail Garage, and today we're going to walk through a full tutorial on how to properly hand wash your vehicle. Now, as we start looking at this vehicle, it does have a lot of dirt and contamination on the paint, but today we are just going to be focusing on proper hand wash methods and then applying a nice and easy spray wax at the end. We're not going to be doing any paint decontamination or clay barring on this vehicle. The only decontamination stage we're going to complete is just on the wheels. Now you can see as we walk through, it does have a lot of bugs on it, there's a lot of dirt, and we're just going to get right into it. The first step we're going to complete is a simple rinse down. I'm starting from top to bottom of this vehicle, so you can see I'm on the roof, and then I'll start down to the front windshield and into the hood and then work my way around the car. Now you can use this with a pressure washer or a garden hose. Both will work very well. Pressure washer will look a little bit better, so I'm going to be using a pressure washer in this video. And we're just going to be kind of kicking off any loose dirt or loose bugs or anything that we can kick off before we actually apply any chemicals. This step is also going to cool down the vehicle, because when we're ever working on the exterior of a vehicle, we always want to make sure that it's cool and wet before we actually apply any chemicals. So I'm just going to go around this vehicle, rinse it off, also make sure that I hit the wheels and tires as well. This next step is very important. It's going to be our pre-treatment before our foam cannon wash. What I'm applying now is a bug remover because this vehicle did have some bugs on it, and I'm just going to be spraying kind of the main areas that you're going to see bugs: the front windshield, the side mirrors, and the front bumper. So I'm just going to be applying this chemical, and we're going to let it dwell. And then also what we can do, if you aren't doing a foam wash, or even if you are doing a foam wash and you can see that there was a lot of heavy dirt in the lower panels, we could just going to apply our all-purpose cleaner to the bottom, and this is going to help dissolve that dirt and kind of rinse it off, so when we actually get into the contact wash, there isn't a lot of dirt on the vehicle. So I'm going to be spraying the lower panels, typically where the tires kick up all the dirt, and then the rear bumper as well. And we're just going to let this chemical dwell as well with the bug remover, and then we're going to rinse this off to make it a lot easier when it comes to our actual contact wash. Once we're done applying the all-purpose cleaner and the bug remover, if needed, we're going to let these chemicals dwell for about 1 to 3 minutes. It just depends on the conditions you're working on the vehicle, then how heavy the dirt is as well. We always want to make sure we don't let it dwell for too long, because we do not want these chemicals to dry on the vehicle. So we're just going to let it dwell for about 1 to 3 minutes, do its job, start to dissolve the bugs, dissolve that dirt, and then we're just going to rinse it off. Once the all-purpose cleaner and bug remover have dwelled, we're then going to just simply rinse them off. Now with the bugs, you can actually, when you're using the pressure washer, use a little bit more pressure, kind of focus on the bugs, and they should come off fairly easily. It just also depends on what type of bug remover you're using, if it's professional or just a retail version. Particularly the professional versions though, you can simply just wash it off without actually have to scrub it, because we're not going to try to scrub the bugs off. We don't really want to touch the paint too much to minimize scratching or marring, but we're just going to focus on removing the bugs, using a little bit more pressure, focusing on them. They should just easily just rinse off the vehicle. Now while I wash off this all-purpose cleaner, I did want to mention, if the vehicle does have heavy dirt and it is hit, you can use our orange degreaser. Just follow the same steps and process. Just make sure the chemical doesn't dwell. But I'm not going to use that harsh of a chemical on just minor dirt. This all-purpose cleaner will do, and it'll be perfect. And now I'm just going to rinse off the back bumper, and then we're going to get into our contact wash and foam cannon wash. Now for the contact wash, I'm going to be using a 2-bucket wash method. Right now I have my 2 buckets. I have 2 grit guards, 1 in each bucket, and I also have some bucket dollies. They're not needed, but they're a lot easier when we're moving around the vehicle. I'm going to fill these up with just both water, and then on the right bucket, that's going to be my wash bucket. I'm going to put about 2 capfuls of our orange snow foam. Now you can use another chemical, but I just want to make it simple then showing you that our orange snow foam can be used in a contact wash method as well. So I'm going to put 2 capfuls in, and then I'm just going to use the garden hose or pressure washer to activate the suds and mix around the chemical and get it nice and foamy. Next, we'll get our foam cannon all set up. I'm just going to unscrew the cap, and for moderate dirt, you can use 2 ounces of our orange snow foam, or if it has heavy dirt, we're going to use 4 ounces. This vehicle was pretty dirty, so I'm going to use 4 ounces of our orange snow foam, and then I'm just going to fill it up with warm water. Now, if you don't have warm water, it's fine, but the warm water will give it a more thick foam. Not a major difference, but we want that nice thick foam to encapsulate that dirt. So once we're done filling it up with warm water, I'm just going to put the cap back on. I'm going to give it a little shake, and then we'll attach it to our pressure washer and start our foam wash. And just like rinsing down the vehicle, we're always going to be working from top to bottom. So I'm going to foam this car up from top to bottom, making sure it has a nice thick layer of the foam. Then I'm also going to do the wheels and the tires and the wheel wells as well, because we want to cover this entire vehicle in this foam so it can encapsulate the dirt, pull it off from the vehicle, and then when we rinse it off and we get to our contact wash method, there should be barely any dirt on this vehicle. So when we're actually touching this vehicle, there's literally minimal to zero scratching because there's barely anything left on the surface. Once you have covered this entire vehicle in foam, we're then going to let this dwell for approximately 3 to 5 minutes so this foam can do its work, pull the dirt off from the vehicle, and then we'll just simply rinse it down again from top to bottom. Now when we get to the actual rinse down stage, it doesn't have to be an immediate, I'm going to try to get all this soap off, because we're just going to be putting more soap on it. The whole purpose is to just try to rinse off the vehicle, kick off any of that dirt that the soap just pulled off. After a foam cannon wash, we're then going to clean the wheels. Now, I'm not going to go too in-depth in a tutorial on how to clean the wheels. I'll link the description of the video that we already previously made on how to deep clean your wheels properly. So I'm just going to speed through this clip showing you how I'm going to clean this one wheel. And then once we clean the one wheel, we'll go to the rest of the wheels as well. But this is going to be a simple rinse down the tire and the wheel, spray on our wheel cleaner, agitate the dirt. We're going to then apply an iron decontamination. We're using PDP iron melt. We're going to let that dwell for approximately 3 to 5 minutes. It's going to pull all those iron particles off, do its work, and then we're going to agitate it and then rinse it off as well, and then repeat that step to all 4 tires. Like I mentioned, I'm not going to go in depth with this. There is another video that we did an in-depth tutorial that you guys can watch. Once we're done cleaning all 4 wheels, you can see that purple chemical running on the floor. That is the iron melt. You can see how much iron contamination was just on the wheels. But besides the fact on that, we're going to get into our contact wash. We have 2 different wash mitts we're going to use. We have a Rag Company Cyclone wash mitt, and we have a typical microfiber wash mitt. I'm just showing you that you can use either one. Both are going to do its job. And what I'm doing now is I'm just simply dumping it into my rinse bucket to kind of maybe kick off any loose dust that may have been on them. And then I'm going to toss them in my wash bucket. Now I'm swirled around my wash bucket. I have all these suds on it. And I'm going to go in straight lines, 50-50 overlap. And you can see I'm using literally no pressure. I'm not going to be scrubbing the paint. I'm just going to be using little to no pressure, just the weight of my hand to move this around and hold on to it so it doesn't fall off. And then you can see that I did flip the wash mitt once I got to the windshield. I'm going to periodically do this because I'm doing about 1 to 2 panels, and then I'm going to flip it to the other side of the wash mitt, and I'm going to return to my rinse bucket. I'm going to scrub it on the grit guard, squeegee it out, and then go to my wash bucket again, pick up all the suds and the soap, and then return to washing the vehicle. Now again, we're not using any pressure, we're not scrubbing, we're going straight lines, 50-50 overlap, working from top to bottom, leaving the bottom for the last, and I'm going to rinse it in my rinse bucket, rinse out the water, go back to my wash bucket, pick up all the suds, and return to the paint. Now the reason why we have a 2-bucket wash method is because when you're moving that wash mitt through the body of the vehicle, you may pick up some dirt and debris, and it's going to hold on to it. So what we're doing is when we go to the rinse bucket, we're going to rinse off our wash mitt, make sure all that dirt comes off, rinse it out, squeegee it out, return to our wash bucket, pick up all the suds, so we basically have a new wash mitt. Now I'm going to repeat this process, doing about 1 to 2 panels, flipping over the wash mitt, and then returning to my rinse and wash bucket, and I'm going to be repeating this throughout the entire vehicle. Now I will use 1 wash mitt for half the side of the car, and then you'll see when I get to the other half of the vehicle, I'll start using my new wash mitt. This way, so just in case if the 1 wash mitt does pick up some dirt or debris, we're going to kind of just toss it, not use it anymore, and get to a new fresh wash mitt. So you'll be able to see that once I get to the other side of the car. Now when we're done with our contact wash, we're just going to simply wash off the vehicle, rinse off all that soap. We're going to kind of rinse off the cracks and crevices of the vehicle so we can get the suds off. And then we're going to go into our actual drying stage. After our contact wash, and once we rinsed off all that soap and any dirt that was left on the vehicle, we're then going to start our drying stage. Now I'm using a Master Blaster vacuum to kind of blow off all the water that's in the cracks or the crevices of the vehicle. So when the customer leaves, there's no dripping of the water, there's no staining or hard water spots. It just makes it a lot easier when we get to the actual contact drying. You can simply use a leaf blower if you want, or you can just skip this stage if you want. It's up to your preference, but we highly recommend doing this to kind of make your life a lot easier when it comes to the drying stage, so you're not periodically running back and forth to wipe up those water that keeps dripping from the cracks. Once we are done drying out all those cracks, we're going to get into our actual contact drying stage. I'm going to be using our spray wax and sealant. This is perfect for a drying aid. You guys can use whatever chemical you guys want, but I'll show you in this video why this chemical is actually really cool to use. But whenever you're drying the vehicle or using a contact drying stage with a towel or whatever you're doing, always make sure that you have a drying aid so you have some lubricity, because water is not a lubricant, because we're going to be trying to minimize scratching and marring. And you always want to make sure that you have a dedicated plush microfiber drying towel. Do not use the bath towel at home or a terry cloth that will scratch your vehicle. Use a nice soft plush microfiber drying towel. Now today I'm going to be using the Rag Company Gauntlet drying towel. I am testing this towel out and I do love this towel for drying vehicles. It is massive, the one I have. You can get the smaller version, but this is what we had on hand. And you can see before I actually apply the towel on the paint, I also spray some of the chemical on the towel. So I'm going to spray the panel I'm working on, spray the towel, and then I'm going to be going in 50-50 overlap, always working in straight lines, and again, little to no pressure. I'm just going to be using the weight of my hand to hold the towel so it does not fall on the ground, and I'm just going to be rubbing this product in. And then once I'm done applying the product, getting a nice even coating, I'm then either going to flip it to a dry side of the towel, or you can have another towel and then you're just going to buff off the haze. Because this is a spray wax and sealant, it can be applied wet or dry in the vehicle, and it is actually going to leave a haze because it truly is a spray wax and it's a marvelous product. So we're going to be applying the product while drying the car off at the same time. Let it haze up and then go back to a dry side of the towel or have another towel and then dry it off. Now while I'm drying this half of the hood and spraying the product evenly, you can see the haze I was talking about. So what we're going to do is just flip it to the dry side and then buff it off 50-50 overlap, and you can see the haze is removed and it is looking nice and shiny. And you can see this product is very slick. This towel begins to slide off the paint because that spray wax and sealant made it nice and shiny, slick, gave it the protection it's needed, and then also gave it hydrophobic properties as well. That's why I mentioned that this product is awesome to use as a drying aid, because it's going to be a drying aid for lubricity when you're doing a contact drying stage, and then also protect your vehicle at the same time. Once you've finished our contact drying stage, we're then going to apply our tire dressing. The tire dressing we're using is silicone based, so we have to make sure the tire is completely dry. And then I'm going to use this Flagstaff green bristled soft brush to actually apply the product and spread it evenly. And then I'm just going to wipe off any overspray that got onto the rim. Now with overspray, it's completely fine. You can wipe it off. I think the tire shine actually makes the rim even a little bit more shiny with overspray. So it's almost good that there is a little bit so we can wipe it off dry. And then once the tire shine is cured for about 10 to 20 minutes, we're then going to take a nice towel and just spread it evenly again, drying it off, so that way this tire will not sling when the customer drives away. And that's it. We just completed a full tutorial on how to properly hand wash your vehicle with minimal to zero scratching, on how us professional detailers wash your vehicle in our shops. Now you can easily do this at home. We just walked through the entire process and this car is looking absolutely beautiful. We rinsed down the vehicle, applied an all-purpose cleaner, we did bug removal, we did a foam cannon wash, contact wash. We blow dried the car, and then we actually used a drying aid, which is our spray wax, and dried the rest of the vehicle. That way, giving this nice shiny look. It has the protection, it has the slickness, it has the hydrophobic properties, everything the customer wanted. This is absolutely looking beautiful, and as always, subscribe to the channel, like, and I'll drop all the products we used in this video below so you guys can check them out, so you guys can wash your vehicle at home as professional detailers just like us.